Eric Gavon's here from the Tahoe Douglas Fire Department. You're the fire.
I'm the fire marshal.
Fire marshal.
Fire marshal.
So what's the fire marshal do? What's your main, like, what's your oversee?
I oversee the Bureau for Prevention. So we do all enforcement, law enforcement for fire prevention. We do plan review. We go out to the concert venues, to the clubs, make sure they're not overcrowding, that their exits are clear, that their suppression systems are working.
Well, you seem like a good guy for it. You know, you need the right person in that position, in my opinion. You know.
I enjoy it, and we really work to help the businesses out to be safe. It's all, we're a partnership,
and to keep the businesses going, to keep these venues open. I mean, that's got to be part of your drive too. I mean, obviously safety first, but also realizing, hey, we want to get a lot of people in here. We want to make it work. Let's all work together.
What we really do is look at the business model and then see how we can do their business model in a safe manner. And that's really what we work to achieve is a balance. And so we see ourselves as partners.
Yeah, good. That's good, and it feels that way.
Yeah.
Obviously, Wildfire Prevention Month.
Right.
No coincidence that it just falls into June. I mean, this is when we start to really have to gear up. It's drying out there.
Right.
Where are we at? How are we looking right now? What's going on?
Well, right now, fire danger's high. If you go by any of the signs, you'll see that. If you're looking at and you're walking, you go any walks in the woods, you'll see that the fuel is perfect. It's actually ideal, dry for the spread of wildfire. So really what we're trying to do is make the public aware of what they can do to protect themselves against wildfire. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I know people have heard that and they're like, oh, we're tired of hearing that. But I want to remind people, we're only 8 years out of Angora. Angora's the anniversary's coming up next week. And so this weekend we're out doing a wildfire expo at the Y, and it's in the TJ Maxx parking lot, so it's fire safety to the max.
Now that I like it.
We'll be there.
Now that's interesting. You guys from the Tahoe Douglas side are coming down to the California side.
Yeah, well, that's great that you bring that up because we are a partnership. The basin, when there's a fire, we all participate. It takes all the resources. So even though we're a municipal department, we're Tahoe Douglas Fire Protection District, we partner with South Lake, Lake Valley, the Forest Service. Obviously, we're all involved, and so we're all part of a Tahoe Fire and Fuels team, management team, and so we really work to get the awareness out, get the public to be safe, and then respond in an emergency. We all work together.
Yeah. The one thing that's been really interesting to me is seeing that some huge percentage of the wildfires that start here are man-made, created from human situation.
The Forest Service is saying statistically 90% of the fires that are in the basin are caused by either illegal or unattended campfires, and as Angora was. And so we do see some, I don't want to say the high schoolers, but we see a lot of partying that takes place on the end of trails and that type of stuff in the evening hours, and a lot of times they're not putting those fires out. And so if we get high winds and we already have the dry conditions, all those things spell trouble for us. So.
And it isn't part of the issue because I've seen this before and been, I have not studied fire behavior, that sort of thing, but I'm always amazed with a fire pit or a fire, I should say, when you have your ring, how deep the fire gets into that duff and how it can continue to stay in there for days.
Stay in days, sometimes even weeks. So it depends on the size of the embers, the fuel that's being used. It can spread, and then when the wind comes, it'll kick up the embers, and they can spread from a fire that's not been put out.
So with that being the biggest danger, 90% of the wildfires that start here, what's the protocol for putting out a regular campfire properly?
Well, you need to put water on it, obviously, and you need to stir it, and you want to cover it with dirt, and you should be able to put your hand over it and actually put your hand right on it. It should be that cool.
That's a good measurement.
A good measurement that it feels cool to the touch. And then the Forest Service has a lot of information on that, and you can always go by and they'll do education with your family and your kids. It's a good thing to incorporate so that if you're bringing up your family to be in the woods and you want to have that information. Come out to the expo. We'll be talking about those type of things, how to put a fire out properly, where you can have a campfire. A lot of places in the basin you cannot have a campfire. So, and then areas that you need a permit. So it's really important to be aware of what you can do when you want to recreate and use fire. So that's very important for the community to know that. If you see smoke, report it. Right now, we're not doing any of our prescriptive burns, so we're not burning prescriptively. So a lot of times the Forest Service and the fire departments will go into areas where there's heavy fuel and will burn those out, and either piles or whatever.
But not when the fire danger's like this,
Not right now, no. So if you see smoke, report it. That's kind of the word right now. The Angora fire, there was some confusion. People saw the smoke. They thought maybe controlled burn. The winds were high. It was dry.
Yeah, we can never forget that day. I mean, that period, that week long, however long it went on. I mean, that was,
days,
hopefully,
just a couple days,
hopefully people don't
over
forget.
200 structures. Yeah. People literally running for their lives.
Absolutely.
And we don't want people to forget that. But we also don't want people to be scared. We want you to be prepared. And that's what wildfire awareness is about, is being prepared. Increasing your odds is the theme for this month, and then prepare for wildfire. So you can do a lot around your home to do defensible space. You can use rakes, pruners, and you don't always have to take trees out. Everybody thinks, I got to take trees out. Well, that's the most expensive and the most difficult to do. Now, fire districts can issue permits to remove trees for fire danger, but really, the homeowner can do a lot by just removing pine needles, cleaning stuff off the decks and that. So,
real quick, we got to wrap it up. Saturday, what time?
Noon to 3.
Noon to 3.
Noon to 3 at the Y.
All right, right there by TJ Maxx.
Hope to see you there.
Eric Gavon, the fire marshal from Douglas County. Thanks for coming in, and continue throughout the summer to update us on this.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Here's a little piece of Taste Tahoe.